In this bulletin, 35 new COVID cases recorded as of yesterday. Evaluation underway to determine CWM lockdown. And Parliament recommends today. And Rubenaka, Fiji. Ministry of Health recorded 35 COVID-19 cases yesterday, of which 2 were detected at the Colonial War Memorial Hospital in Suba. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says the first case is a patient from Lambasa who was admitted at CWM in the past 6 weeks. Dr. Fong says the patient was swabbed as part of the exit protocol before her planned transfer to the Lambasa hospital. The second case at the CWM hospital is a nurse.
She developed symptoms and was swabbed and isolated as part of the hospital's existing surveillance program. The nurse worked at a different part of the hospital to the positive patient. And at this early stage in the investigation, no connection has been made between her and the patient or any other known clusters.
Out of the 35 cases, 5 are from the Nabo-Sainerere cluster, 1 from Waila, 3 from Nawaka Nandi, 2 are from the CWM hospital, 23 from the Navy cluster, and 1 from the Extra Supermarket cluster. The Ministry of Health is conducting evaluations to determine which areas of the CWM hospital in Suba need to be locked down. This after a patient and a nurse from the hospital tested positive for COVID-19. Dr. James Fong says they are working to set up procedures to keep critical services functioning safely.
Now, in response to all these recent cases, all the patients, their carers, and all the staff at CWM will now be swabbed and tested in order to gauge the extent of any spread within the hospital. This is an estimated 1,200 people who will be tested overnight.
That will cover some 700 plus staff and more than 500 patients who are currently admitted at the hospital.
Dr. Fong says the data from the overnight testing will determine how the existing contingency plans will be reviewed and what further measures will be implemented. The Nandi hospital is now closed to the general public after a staff tested positive of COVID-19 yesterday. Ministry of Health Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Chemesa Tunrabu says there are 40 staff and 37 patients, including 8 mothers within the hospital. Dr. Tunrabu says the ministry has organized a roster for 90 staff to look after those stuck within the hospital during their testing period. He says the Namaka Reproductive Health Clinic will now cater expecting mothers for the assessment as well as delivery. He adds 3 sites have been identified where people of Nandi can now access general outpatients and emergency services as the main hospital is out of reach.
The Sharada Medical Clinic in the middle of Nandi town, the Sharada Medical Clinic in Malolo in Nandi, and the Namaka Health Center in the Namaka area.
3% of Fiji's target population is now fully vaccinated, meaning they have had their 2 doses of the vaccine. 4,251 individuals have received their second dose and are considered fully vaccinated. The Health Ministry says they have now vaccinated over 148,000 Fijians with the first dose of the vaccine. The ministry has now vaccinated 148,522 individuals with the first dose, which is 28% of the target population. The Reserve Bank of Fiji has reduced its interest rates for financial institutions that borrow under its Import Substitution and Export Finance Facility, Disaster Rehabilitation and Containment Facility, and the Housing Facility. This came into effect yesterday, where the RBF will now lend to the commercial banks, licensed credit institutions, Fiji Development Bank and Housing Authority at a rate of 0.25%. Chair of the Association of Banks says the reduction of the borrowing rate will not only help banks, but Fijians who want to invest as well.
The banks will definitely be passing this reduced margin to the customers, which indirectly helps the businesses and the economic recovery.
What they've said is the banks can on-lend that at a reduced interest rate of 3.99%, which is, it's positive all the way. And we do hope that the banks will take it up nicely, this offer that the Reserve Bank has put out, and use that facility to assist businesses.
Parliament will resume today after receiving clearance from the Ministry of Health after the completion of the disinfection of the Parliament precincts. The Business Committee has decided that Parliament sitting will resume from today until next Monday. Parliament sittings will be conducted virtually with members of Parliament either attending in person or connecting remotely. This is to ensure full compliance with the current COVID-safe protocols. Access to the parliamentary complex will be limited only to members of Parliament, authorized government officials, authorized caucus and Parliament staff, and strict safety rules to be followed. Forestry Minister Oceana Ngamu has resigned from cabinet. A government statement says that Ngamu has taken this decision to focus on his health, for which he recently sought treatment, while continuing to contribute to the nation as an MP. Ngamu has served as a member of cabinet from 2014, as the Minister for Fisheries and Forests, and as the Minister for Forestry in 2016. In 2018, he was appointed again as the Minister for Forestry. Up ahead, World Cup focus from Bati. And Pearls stay connected. Stay with us. Welcome back. The pandemic has stopped many local sporting tournaments, but for Netball Fiji, the show must go on. The Fiji Pearls head coach Jenny Brazil says despite this setback, she has put together a plan to have the national squad keep fit while at home. It has been a challenging few weeks, but Brazil says they are adjusting to the new norm and ways to stay connected with the team.
Also provided to the girls some footwork and agility programs that they can do in confined spaces, along with we provided for the girls that, you know, can get out a little bit more, some running programs with different options and things like that. We've stayed sort of connected through our messenger platform, so that's been really good.
And trough of low pressure with associated cloud and rain remains slow moving over the southern parts of Fiji. Meanwhile, another trough of low pressure approaches the group from the west and is expected to affect the group later today. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.